आप सभी का तहे दिल से इस्तकबाल है. We all are here in connection with the rededication ceremony of CSIR IIIM Srinagar branch to the nation, inauguration of new chemistry lab and laying of foundation stone of students hostel in the premises. Branch Lab Srinagar, which is renovated and equipped with latest state-of-art facilities, is named after Colonel Sir R.N. Chopra, founder of RRL Jammu. Similarly, the new chemistry lab, which no way lags behind or is less than any chemistry lab in the world, is named after Dr. Akhtar Hussain, founder of this branch lab. The living legend whose contribution can never be forgotten. Our chief guest on this occasion is Janab Umar Abdullah Sahab, Chief Minister J&K State. He is here to grace the occasion. We have special guest of honor, Janab S. Jaipal Reddy Sahab, Union Minister of Science and Technology and Earth Sciences. He is also Vice President of CSIR. Minister of Science and Technology J&K Government, Janab Feroz Khan Sahab is also here to grace the occasion. उनका भी यहाँ पर स्वागत है. We are also very thankful to Professor Sameer Brahmachari, Director General CSIR. He is also Secretary DSIR Government of India, who is here to encourage all of us. Mrs. Brahmachari is also here. उनका भी इस संस्थान में और वादिया कश्मीर में तहे दिल से इस्तकबाल है. I would like to mention that this event is being webcast in 40 national CSIR laboratories throughout the country. CSIR, as you know, is the biggest scientific organization in India, perhaps in the world. As we all know that since 1989, in J&K, the situation was not normal. Disturbance थी, हालात साजगार नहीं थे, जिसकी वजह से हमारी रियासत को बहुत नुकसान उठाना पड़ा. आम जनजीवन प्रभावित हुआ, तरक्की का काम जो थे वो भी प्रभावित हुए, उन पर असर पड़ा और कुल मिलाकर यहाँ की दिनचर्या, यहाँ का आम जीवन जो था वो एक मंद रफ्तार होकर रह गया. और हमारा ये जो IIIM का प्रेमिसेस, ये सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस को ऑक्युपाई करना पड़ा, वो यहाँ रह रहे थे. सिंस अब यहाँ पर नॉर्मलसी जो है वो बहाल हो चुकी है और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और उसके सहयोग से और रियासती हुकूमत के अनथक जतनों से आज हम खुशहाली की तरफ गामजन हैं. और इन्हीं कोशिशों के तहत चीफ मिनिस्टर साहब के निजी कोशिशों और CSIR की तरफ से जो कोशिशें की गई, आज इस प्रेमिसेस को सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस से खाली करवा दिया गया है और इसे एक नई शक्ल देने की कोशिश की गई है. इसमें नए सिरे से जान भरने की कोशिश की गई है और आज हम इसमें कामयाब हो चुके हैं. और आज के इस मौके पर हम सब यहाँ पर इकट्ठे हैं और इसे जो नई केमिस्ट्री लैब है, हमारा जो प्रीमिसेस है, इसको रीडेडिकेट करने के लिए नई केमिस्ट्री लैब को हम इनॉग्रेट कर रहे हैं और स्टूडेंट्स हॉस्टल को हम आज यहाँ पर उसका फाउंडेशन स्टोन जो है वो रखा जा रहा है. आज का प्रोग्राम शुरू करते हुए सबसे पहले मैं गुजारिश करूंगा डॉक्टर राम विश्वकर्मा साहब से, इस डायरेक्टर IIIM जम्मू, वो कृपया यहाँ पर आएं और यहाँ उपस्थित सभी मेहमानों का औपचारिक स्वागत करें और प्रेजेंटेशन पेश करें. डॉक्टर विश्वकर्मा.
Honorable Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Janab Umar Abdullah Sahab, Honorable Union Minister of Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, and the Vice President of Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Shri Jaipal Reddy ji, Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Government of J&K, Janab Feroz Ahmed Khan Sahab, our Director General, Professor Sameer Brahmachari, Secretary, Department of Scientific and Industrial Research, Government of India. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all on this historic occasion of rededication to the nation of this IIIM branch laboratory at Srinagar. Since this program is being webcasted live to all the 40 national laboratories, centers of the CSIR, the largest public funded research body in the country and perhaps one of the largest in the world, I welcome all my colleagues from CSIR family to this most beautiful city of our country, Srinagar. And I also welcome my colleagues from press who all the way came from New Delhi for this function. It's a great moment to have Honorable Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir on this beautiful day, our Vice President, our DG SIR, our Minister of Science and Technology of the state, all together on this event. CSIR, as shown in this map of India, is truly pan-India organization. Every part of this beautiful nation is dotted with these temples, which Jawaharlal Nehru used to call them temples. And I think they have today, after 60 odd plus years, we can justify that they really perform the function of temples, taking this nation forward. A very poor country had a dream, and I think today we can see that we can sit on the high table, any high table in the global scientific achievement. And this is the vision of great people. And as you can see, this institute is right at the top. And again, a major privilege for this organization is that the Prime Minister of the country is the President of CSIR, and Union Minister of Cabinet Minister of Science and Technology is always Vice President of this organization. So the amount of patronage at the very highest office of the nation has continuously given to this. I was told by my colleague that all the meetings of the Society of CSIR have always been attended by the Prime Minister of this country, Jawaharlal Nehru onward. So it's a great privilege to have that organization and support that required. This great institution was set up by another doyen of Indian science, Sir Colonel Ramnath Chopra, who set up this institute in 1942. At the same time he set up, this is a very unique personality, having done the best of the science at the highest level, discovered the connection of the human brain with medicinal plant. I think when I analyze his work, I can summarize in one line that he connected human brain with medicinal plant. And today we know all that pharmacology of how these receptors work, so it's a long story. So this remarkable man set up a factory for manufacture belladonna, santonin in those days in Baramulla, to supply to the whole country. So it is a true visionary. So we have a heritage which is so proud. So I think we have to live up to this very high standard this man set up for us. We have a beautiful campus in Jammu. We have this center which was inaugurated in 1971 by another visionary of the country, C. Subramaniam, the father of Green Revolution in this country. Science and Technology Minister, our Vice President, inaugurated this beautiful building. We had a second building which was foundation stone of that building, which is just on your left, was laid by Sher-e-Kashmir, Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah. And you can see in this picture another Vice President of CSIR, Professor Nurul Hassan, and head of this laboratory, Dr. Akhtar Hussain. And this institution has blessing from Pandit Nehru to our first president, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. And other than these two major laboratories, we are blessed with huge farm resources in this state, which was actually granted by Sher-e-Kashmir, Sheikh Abdullah, to this institution. This is a 150-acre farm in Pulwama. This is one of the beautiful, most productive farm anywhere in the country, which is available to us. We have a field station, Yarika, Gulmarg, 25 acre, where we introduce rose in this estate. We have another field station in Jammu, which is 50 acre, right beside the airport. Chattha field station, which has been really very, very contributing to the whole country, right from Tamil Nadu to Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan to Gujarat. All the plant material of starting from the mint story 1958 are provided from there. So it's a major asset that we have. And this is another true visionary, Dr. Akhtar Hussain, who was the first head of this laboratory. Later on, he set up this beautiful institute called Central Institute of Medicinal and Medical Plant, Lucknow. spent more, wherever I go in Valley, I see the footprint of this man. And that is why we have decided today that this building will be named after him. And good to have a person alive. He lives in Lucknow. Very fragile body, but very agile mind. I met him last 2 months ago, and the mind is as sharp as used to be. So it's a great honor to actually remember him and honor him. And he was the one who introduced, in a commercial scale, this lavender and rose in this valley. And he has a very fond memory of Sher Kashmir. We have continuously have the patronage of the President Kalam visited us. Very recently, our Vice President, current Chief Minister of Maharashtra, visited us in Jammu, Shri Prithviraj Chauhan. And we were very lucky to have our Chief Minister visiting us twice in 15 days' time. So last 17th January 2012, he came to us to Jammu campus, and then he came within 15 days to 4th February 2012 to this campus. And the kind of support of a chief executive of the state, I can't tell you how much energy that it puts in you, and how much expectation that, then you really shake yourself up and then you live up to that expectation. So I think that's what he has done to all of us, and then we are really working with that mission. We recently had Janab Ghulam Nabi Azad visiting us, another tall leader of this state, and so with his support also we are taking forward the agenda of the institute. And very surprisingly, this very respected newspaper from South India wrote about us, and we didn't know anything about it. So it was such a surprise from our journalistic community. And then Forbes magazine, all kinds of people are writing about us. So this is a kind of a silent recognition of the work this institution does. Another unique aspect of this institute is the diversity of the India, which is now we have 203 PhD students. And as you can see, after Jammu and Kashmir, which is 123, we have a student from Andhra Pradesh, 37 national net examination qualified people working with us. They did not go to NCL, they did not go to IIC Bangalore, they came to this lab to do their PhD, which I myself don't have answer for that, but they want to come here. And we have representation from, similarly, the same thing is in the faculty. We are truly pan-India representation in this center. Impact of this lab historically has been tremendous. And one of the few examples I'll give you, the mint. Today, mint is one of the top 10 export of India. That mint started from Jammu and Kashmir in 1958 when Colonel Chopra started the first plantation. And today, it is 4,000 crore market, and almost 30% is exported. This is the primary produce, so you can see the value that is added after 4,000 crore. It works out to be 40,000 crore plus and more than that. And we are number one, even beating China in this export. So if you look at the top 10 export of the country, this is the one. So this is the major contribution of CSIR. I think a dramatic contribution of Council of Scientific Industrial Research in Indian economy. 2 lakh hectare land only in UP is under cultivation under this plant. And I have been interacting with farmers, and the number of the quality of life, that how many lakhs and lakhs of families are impacted by this crop. Lavender, which was introduced by this institute, currently we have 200 hectare in J&K. We produce 15,000 kilo of lavender oil, 12 crore per year, the primary produce. So what we have done now to start value addition and then really get the value of this very rare crop, this happens only in this valley. And our production is that we want to take it to 1,000 hectare, employment for at least 4,000 people we want to create through this crop. Rose, which is a pristine crop only occurring in this valley. Right now we have 100 hectare in J&K and 100 kg oil, which sells, my colleague told me, 6.5 lakhs rupees a liter. That we are producing here. And rose water and other potential is 1,000 hectare and employment for 5,000 people. Parithram, the first parithram in India was produced by this laboratory, and now the parithram is coming back in demand because of all the ill effect of synthetic insecticide that we are learning now. Hops, all the hop supply from India for beer used to come from here. And for the disturbances, it had to move to Lahaul Valley. Now Lahaul Valley produces hops. So hops is a real opportunity for India. The best quality hops actually grows in this place. Artemisia annua, this is another introduction of Dr. Akhtar Hussain. I remember I joined him that very time, that very year, and he gave me 2 truck of herb. and he say, you go take this 2 truck and isolate couple of kilo of this anti-malarial drug. And to just tell you, this is the most dramatic life-saving anti-malarial drug today on the horizon. Globally, if you have cerebral malaria, this is the only drug available to treat it. And actually, doctor withhold it, not to give just a fear of resistance. So they give only terminal condition when a children goes to coma. This drug is the wonder drug that comes out, and this plant grows naturally in this valley. Now, with a lot of effort from CMAP at Lucknow, in UP they have introduced, and it's growing in 2,000 hectare in UP alone. And this sells at $300 a kilo in global market, so it's a great demand. So I think these are some of the huge opportunities that exist, and this institution has contributed to these introduction in the global. Very recently, we introduced this new drug for tuberculosis, almost 15, 16 years of very hard work of this Institute for Tuberculosis, launched by Ahmedabad-based company Cadila Pharmaceuticals. And this is a real, I would consider that the example of integrative medicine, because the scientific basis of this drug directly comes from Ayurveda. And based on those principles, Trakatu principle that Ayurveda used, we discovered this alkaloid called piperine. And what we found is remarkably that piperine can manipulate the pharmacokinetics of the frontline drug of tuberculosis. So in nutshell, we could bring down the dose of rifampicin from 450 milligram to 200 milligram. So affordability and resistance and all these things can be addressed. So this is a major breakthrough that happened from this laboratory. But again, to quote Charles Dickens and quote Honorable Chief Minister last year, it was the best of the time and the worst of the time. So all this heritage, everything done, but decline of this institution happened at that time when disturbance started, and most of the scientific staff left to Jammu, Palampur, Delhi, and Lucknow. We left with 1 scientist, 2 technicians remaining. The lab building was occupied by CRPF, ITPP for 12 years, and you can imagine this led to wanton destruction of scientific lab, instrumentation, facility, project, and most importantly, the scientific culture, which requires a very subtle way of doing things. Therefore, this center required a major renovation and recreation. And I think when my Director General and I visited here in 2009, and both of us perhaps silently agreed that this has to be done. And from that time onward, we started this project to rebuild this laboratory, make it really world-class again, and then really provide this as a center of excellence for the best research in the Valley and Jammu and Kashmir, competitive anywhere in the global world. So what we have done, we have completely renovated the entire campus and building. We have set up the new lab furniture. I can be very proud my chemistry lab is the best in the world, right? At least best in India today. And you will see that in a few moments. And we have invested heavily in bringing the top of the class instrumentation for chemical research, biological research, and through that process, we are now attracting the top talent of the Valley and J&K, which is sitting outside in Harvard and Stanford and MITs. So the kind of application that I am receiving from these talented people is amazing and overwhelming. And my DG then sanctioned 60 new positions for this center. So we are looking forward to a great future for this. And as of now, we have 10 scientists working, PhD students, technical staff, field support. And these are the 2 beautiful pieces of equipment. I must thank my DG and Honorable Chief Minister to intervening in this process. We had 5 times tendered for these equipment, and companies were not quoting because it was for Srinagar. And we had to take help, and finally these are in place, and we will be installing them one is installed this week. And we have created a working mechanism so that these are effectively used not only by us, Kashmir University, SKIMS, COST, NIT, BRC, and ICR. All these, we have made this agreement, sir, so that all of them have a stake in using these equipment. These are some of the pictures of the new lab that you're going to see. Equipment, we have invested 11 crore to bring these high-end equipment in this facility. And this much expenditure in the last 2.5 years that we have made to innovate. My DG has been signing blank checks for me. I don't know why. Whatever I asked for, I got it. So I must acknowledge him for this. Truly, never ask a question. Never ask a question. And then we created, while we are building this lab, we thought, this is not enough. We have to do something on the ground. So we created this public-private partnership. And some of these industry names that you can see written here, they are all created by PPP of this institution. These are new industry that we are creating in aroma. Because my belief is that this place is can be global leader in aroma sector. That's one sector we can be global. And these are some of the high value aromatic plant growers that we have created, the people who are procuring these material from us routinely. and going into cultivation. We started a project in Dras and Kargil because that's the area 6 months is frozen and 6 months is a good weather. So we started this project there. And I must say that the help that I got from the DC of both Kargil and Gurez is amazing. So we have been able to start these projects. Now these projects have been taken by state government also to continue to support these activity. And these, I think, I see that they will be a herald into new era into basically value addition and the cash crop generation in these far-flung area of the state. These are some of the pictures where we have introduced these crops, and particularly my colleague are telling me that this most costly mint species called Mentha piperata is happily growing there, which doesn't grow in the Indian plains. This is a project that we started in Gurez Valley last year, and this is also, I think is a, I must thank Honorable Chief Minister for just prodding me to visit that place, and I am fortunate to be there, sir. The kind of beauty and the kind of diversity that I have seen in that area. Then another major project, all we are doing this agriculture, cultivation, but where is the industrial scale set up to process all that? And industry in this stage doesn't have a muscle to set up that infrastructure that is required. So with the blessing of Honorable Chief Minister, we are on a mission to create 2 industrial biotechnology parks in the state, which will be the arm for processing of these material, providing incubation facility for the new entrepreneurs so they can come and habit there for 2-3 years and then go out and fly on their own. So this is something, a major enabling, sir, Vice President, sir, this is something very, very critical for this state. We need to participate in this process, and I'm very happy DBT, CSR, other day I talked to my DG, also he's very, very encouraging to participate in this initiative. And this is how we have proposed that we will have a core infrastructure facilities, and then we will have nutraceutical plants, business incubation centers, marketing projects, all kinds of, and later on in 2 or 3 years time we will move to high-end monoclonal antibodies, enzymes, and because this climate is ideal for fermentation products. If somebody wants to produce antibiotics, this is the place to do that. So, and other than that, we want to create the certification process and the other ancillary support that this sector requires. And for that, the model that we have proposed that, I'm assured that DBT CSR will contribute 60%, J&K Bank also, sir. Other day we have meeting with the chairman of that, and I must thank Mr. Vyas to organize that discussion. They might have kind of agreed to 25% stake, which will bring the financial prudence and financial management to this whole structure. And then Jammu and Kashmir government will contribute 15%, and then land utility infrastructure for all these 2 activities. Other than that, which we have realized that the land holding is very small in this state, and for them to directly go to industry they are mostly fleeced. So what we are thinking, we have identified these 21 places in entire Jammu and Kashmir state, where we will then create a mechanism of the cultivation. We will provide each of these quality control laboratories, processing facilities at a small scale, and buyback arrangement through a Section 25 mechanism of the institute, so that we can work like a buffer to protect the grower and then introduce into the market. So that model that we have created, and these are some of the high value crops that we want to introduce here. Rosemary, geranium, angelica, organum, these are all unique to the valley. Then under a CSR 800 program, which is our flagship program of CSR in 12 plan, we are setting up a technology village in far height reach of Jammu area, where we will bring all the technology from all the CSR lab and then work with the local community to induction of more ancestry input in the research. And in this process, this year we introduced this lavender in Bhadraba Valley, another beautiful valley in Jammu and Kashmir, and I think my results are really exciting. 2.6 lakh plant we have introduced, sir, this season, and the quality of material is as good as what we are getting in the valley. So this is also 250 canals, 237 farmers have come forward in this initiative, and they their own are, and in fact they are buying these plant material from us, so we are not doing any favor. So this is the energy of the farmer, that they are only thing we are doing, quality planting material we are providing to them. So this is our model. So on the one hand, this encouraging commercial cultivation of high value medicinal aromatic plant in 21 identified area, creating biotech parks, processing, and then IIIM coming in the way in quality control, buyback arrangement through Section 25 mechanism to basically keep a balance on these processes. We are running, sir, a small facility here, which was started by Dr. Ramaswamy when he was director of CLRI in Chennai, and I think now with more support from DST, this facility is training 25 girls at a time in leather manufacturing, and I think this is impact of this small activity is really huge, and you get to see this facility very soon. And I think I'm very particularly pleased that we are able to do that and training these younger girls. Now our agenda is to set up a global label leather design center here, because that's required. The hands are good, it's all right, but in the commercial world you need to have the scale that is required here to be done. This is another vision that we have, sir. We talked about to you last time in a scientific advisory committee meeting to create the CSR Science Center at Srinagar. We have some very precious piece of land just adjacent to this building where we want to create an aroma innovation center so that this aroma industry can grow. Leather goods design center, business networking, science information, science museum, particularly science museum for children, because the first meeting I had with Honorable Chief Minister, and he mentioned that he would like to have a museum of the scale which he used to go to London when he was a small child. And I think we have taken that decision that we will create that kind of museum here, where people will be able to see the stars, and kids can come and enjoy the fun wonders of science. So this will have, other than that, we are creating 2 separate science museums under the National Science Council of Museum facility in Jammu and Kashmir. Another vision dream I have, and I think a lot of people have been approaching me, that this Ladakh region needs a center, because this is very unique biodiversity. Unfortunately, it is disappearing, or it is being patented aggressively by China, because the plant diversity remains the same, whether this part or that part. And I think it's quickly we have to go into this very ancient Tibetan medicine system, which we call Amchi system of medicine, and we need to create this facility so that younger generation of this region, very important region of this state, also get this, satisfy their curiosity of scientific research. So we have a proposal, and we will look forward that this needs support, this gets support. At the end, I will thank my DG CSR, without whose support this simply would have not been possible. And a lot of people have supported Dr. Shawl, who stood by this place when this place was under distress, and I think protected it. Current head of the laboratory, Dr. Bedi, Dr. Rana, Dr. Chandra, my engineering team, Dinesh Sultan, GP Singh, Ashwini Chopra, Bharti, and this one person administration support, Major Singh. He has been running all the administration, store, purchase. I think we must acknowledge the courage of this man who stood by 20 years despite receiving letter every week by somebody or other to vanish. So I think I must acknowledge the entire scientific and technical staff in Jammu and Kashmir Center, and student particularly. I must acknowledge that you stood by, you waited 2 years, you waited based on my promise that you made. And I think I must thank you that you waited that long, that I will bring you all this facility, and I must thank you that you had that much of courage. You had opportunity to go to ISC Bangalore, you had opportunity to go to anywhere else you wanted to go, but you bought my word and stayed. But my request to you now is that we have everything, we have worked very hard to create this. Now the real work starts, that we create research and we link this research with society in such a way that this place is proud of you. So this is agenda that we have on our head, and you are in a place which is a 3 geoclimatic region, and I always keep referring to Ladakh and these high altitude as a Yellowstone National Park of the United States. And I think the whole world is waiting to be discovered in terms of evolutionary biology, all kinds of resources, microbial resources. So it's a great opportunity for you to really explore, and I must thank you all for listening to my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. आज इस मौके पर हमारे लिए बड़े फख्र की बात है कि जयपाल रेड्डी साहब के साथ साथ मिसेस रेड्डी भी हमारे बीच हैं। आपका भी वादी कश्मीर में हार्दिक स्वागत है। Now I request Director General CSIR and Secretary DSIR Dr. Sameer Brahmachari to kindly come over here for his expert comments.
Jinab Omar Abdullah ji, our own Vice President and Honorable Minister Sri Jaipal Reddy ji, Mrs. Reddy, our State Science and Technology Minister Janab Firoz Ahmed Khan ji. I don't know what words I must say about the director, Dr. Ram Vishwakarma. I must say, I never had a situation like this, that as a DG CSIR, I lose my words. I must say, thank you for what you did. Of course, 2009, March, when I came here, Dr. Shawl, I said the shawl in winter of this institute was the only man. I had promised to him that a 400 megahertz NMR will come to the valley. It took long time. Therefore, I could not come to Kashmir in spite of my wife. But she came and visited. But I said I cannot go because I haven't got the 400 megahertz NMR. So today I am very, very happy. I am back here. And why? I realized sitting at headquarters that Dr. Bedi has taken over the responsibility. Thank you for all the trouble you take coming from Jammu. But as our director said, there is some unsung hero. There are unsung heroes in Uttarakhand taking care. Same way we have unsung hero is our Major Singh. So I salute him as single-man army. He has done a remarkable job to help the director to achieve what it is today. But I must tell you, before I came, I have signed a file to get you a very smart section officer to come and join Srinagar Center. Therefore, you will have some help. There will be somebody will be here soon. My friends from media, my members of my CSI family, not only here but across India, and the student scientific community. When I came here, my flight was several hours late, but my talk was organized by Dr. Shawl, and I realized, sir, unlike politicians, normally people will not wait. They will vanish if you don't appear for 3 hours to give your talk. But I was surprised that the university students were all there. And I realized that there is a huge potential and energy. Especially, I must say, I saw amazing energy from some of the young women researchers and students. And I realized this energy can be utilized if we provide them the opportunity and the resources. So therefore, Ram, it is not, I haven't done anything special. I just did my duty. I saw the opportunity and I believed this opportunity could be utilized if we put the resources. If you to create a masterpiece, it's an imagination and a dream. And then one has to work very hard to create like a master craftsman. And eventually, somebody has to see and nurture and eventually make sure the product is delivered. When I look at Colonel Sri R.N. Chopra, I think of Rabindranath Tagore. While he established Shanti Niketan for science and learning, Simultaneously, he established Sriniketan, where the knowledge was translated into business, side by side, 100 years back. The second thing Tagore taught us, where the mind is without fear, the head is held high, where the knowledge is free. So as you saw the statistics given by our director, Dr. Ram, that this valley has shared its knowledge and expertise down to the plains, and today maybe Uttar Pradesh is enjoying one of the most benefit out of these valleys, creativity and getting economic benefit. Our Honorable Chief Minister, this could be a very important point in your even political speech, because it is amazing. I saw the tracing, like a silk route. You can see where did Artemisinin go, how did, right, Mentha, how come India became number one in Ment? We were nowhere there. And how it has happened, how Northeast has benefited the knowledge that flew from this place. So therefore, sharing knowledge free was Tagore's vision. And I must say, my open source drug discovery initiative, Jammu is playing, Jammu and Kashmir, JK Center, IIIM Jammu and Kashmir is doing an extraordinary job. And they have come up with new scaffolds, identified of the 20,000 molecules screened for tuberculosis. So I believe that these children, these young people of this institute will make a difference for the life of the millions. Especially, as you all know, what gives me the confidence? It gives me the confidence that we will be able to do because of Resorine. Resorine has been developed less than $10 million of investment. And I say, never in the history a new product is launched into the market, drug which has been launched by Cadila, 23% cheaper than the last product. Always in the United States, any new drug comes with 5 times more price than the last drug. And this is the knowledge of traditional integrative knowledge that was combined between the modern science and this. So I see this. So therefore, today in government, creating position is the most difficult job. I'm sure our Honorable Minister will understand when we say we have created 60 scientist position, because we decided to reorganize and give away positions from some of the CSIR laboratories and put them here, because we believe that this place deserves and will deliver more per capita scientists for CSIR and for the country. So therefore, there is a new opportunity, and our challenge will be to attract the very best. Today, as Director said, that we have 10 scientists already. And I'm told that there are 30 students, PhD students, of which 28 are NET exam cleared. I can tell 15 years back when I came as the director of Center for Biochemical Technology at Delhi, I didn't have a single student who was NET cleared. It took me, today of course, IGIB has India's largest number of NET clear students in any center. So I don't see a distant future. I absolutely see the future that there will be outstanding students who are going to work in this place. So therefore, I must congratulate the Honorable Minister of our Vice President as well as our Chief Minister for being available, for dedicating this institute, this center, rededicating to the nation. I'm sure this day will be remembered to decades to come. As the DG CSIR, the 6 years, I have been wondering what was there in the vision of Pandit Nehru and subsequent Prime Ministers, even Mrs. Gandhi and others, the interest that has been taken. So political leadership's interest is a very important component of scientific growth of a nation. And that eventually, the science investment gives you hundreds of fold of return. Its IRR is very different than all that you discuss and calculate. I met our Honorable Umar Abdullah ji. I didn't meet him first. I heard him on television. I was amazed. And then the director told me he wants to meet you. So I came to Jammu. It was cold winter. Lots of extras are going on, from biodiesel to mass for using biofertilizer. All possible projects are on. And so I was afraid to meet him again. And I am very glad that Ram put some percentage. He didn't tell the total value. And he said 60% will be DBT and CSIR. Thank you, Ram, but not defining how much CSIR and not defining the total. So I have no problem. Otherwise, I was looking at the face of Sudeep Kumar sir. He was thinking so much of cut of budget, where from money will come. And it is true. CSIR used extensively its own resources. I must tell, sir, it is first time CSIR has used 470 crores of internal receipts, extra budgetary fund last year, and this year we have a deficit of 730 crores. And we believe that we are not going to cut down our progress, we will not cut down our development. We will raise that money from non-governmental sources. And therefore, CSIR is committed to its 12th plan, and in 12th plan vision, we have this spot as a very important spot for our vision. It will help us, Honorable Minister, as well as our Vice President, Honorable Science and Technology, and the Chief Minister, if you can impress upon our Finance Minister to be little more generous on CSIR so that we can do more for J&K. With these few words, I once again thank you. Thank you for being patient. I can assure you, now I will come back in September and spend a longer time with my students here. The fact that the NMR is here, I am now can come very often. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I invite Janab Feroz Khan Sahib, Honorable Minister for Science and Technology, J&K Government, for his remarks. Janab Feroz Khan Sahib.
Janab Umar Abdullah Sahib, Honorable Chief Minister Jammu and Kashmir, Janab S. Jaipal Reddy ji, Honorable Union Minister of Science and Technology, Vice President, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Professor Samir K. Brahmachari, Director General, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, Government of India, Dr. Ram Vishwakarma, Director, Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine, Jammu, distinguished scientists, researchers, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be here today to participate in the rededication to the nation ceremony of Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine branch Srinagar in the excellent backdrop of this beautiful campus. The institute symbolizes our commitment to the development of J&K and its people. It also symbolizes our commitment to the cause of science and particularly to scientific research. Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine has been established in the state to help the nation and the state in particular in scientific utilization of natural bioresources in the development of the state and to help investigate various socio-economic problems. The institute has extended its network by opening experimental laboratories at Pulwama, Tangmak and Verinag. The institute, in collaboration with State Council for Science and Technology, has helped the state in preparation of draft biotechnology policy, which will go a long way in promoting bioresources for the development of the state. The Institute and State Council for Science and Technology are in the process for establishing biotechnology park in the state, which will go a long way in employment generation in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. We recognize the important role that science and scientific research has to play in our development process and our steady progress towards being a modern scientific knowledge society. In the last 72 years, the CSIR J&K has undertaken massive improvement to our biotechnical resources, but we realize that laboratory has to do much more. In the area of science education and research particularly, I share the concern that our best minds are not turning to science and scientific research. We must find ways of making science more attractive to our youth. We must improve the quality teaching science at the school and college level. At the university level, we must ensure better infrastructure, high quality faculty and greater interaction between academia and industry. It's our expectation that Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine will help the state to produce trained scientific manpower of a very high quality which could directly find placement across the country and will help the state in addressing various socio-economic issues through scientific research. We also expect that the institute to be an institute at par with the best institution of the country in terms of facilities and faculty. Let me end by wishing the Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine all the very best in the years to come. I hope that this institute will help the state to produce outstanding scientists to overcome the employment problem also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I request Janab Jaipal Reddy Sahab, Union Minister for Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, to address the gathering. Janab Jaipal Reddy Sahab.
Janab Omar Abdullah Sahab, Janab Feroz Ahmed Khan Sahab, our DG Samir Brahmachari ji, our Director Ram Vishwakarma ji, and all the scientists who are here and who are listening to us are witnessing this function at 40 odd labs in the CSI. And all the ladies and gentlemen. I belong to the same age group as Dr. Farooq Abdullah. And we sit side by side in the cabinet meeting. Well, of course, I was a warm friend of Dr. Farooq Abdullah. I also developed silent admiration for Mr. Omar Abdullah when he was a member of parliament, when he was a minister, when he was playing a decent, honest role as a member of parliament and as minister. In fact, all of us keep referring to his parting speech in parliament. In just 5 minutes, he made a point in a stirring language. I received the Best Parliamentarian Award way back in 1998. Even so, I was quite swayed by the speech, not only because of the eloquence, but because of the earnestness with which he spoke. I've since been watching him. He has grown from strength to strength, and as Chief Minister of the most difficult state in the country, he has been performing duties not only to a satisfaction of a well-wisher like me, to everybody's satisfaction. Therefore, when Dr. Ram Vishwakarma and our DG told me about the keen personal interest the Chief Minister of J&K was taking in our institute here, in the significant seminal contribution our institute is making to the agricultural, scientific, industrial development of the valley, I thought I should visit the place, and I must thank the Chief Minister for the welcome he extended to me. In fact, he had wanted me to come. You see, when I look at this institute, of course, everybody is reminded of Dr. Chopra, where the vision, as far back in 1942, to start a thing like this. He knew the unique biodiversity of Kashmir Valley. He also knew the biodiversity of Jammu, but yet he knew how the Kashmir Valley's biodiversity was different. When I learned that roses grown here, or lavender grown here, are different altogether for anywhere in the country or the world, actually people like us get fascinated. For any great activity in developing countries of the world today, the vision of the leader is very important. Jawaharlal Nehru may be known as the first Prime Minister of India, as a great freedom fighter, as a great writer. Outside the scientific community, it's not widely known that it took historic initiative in giving fillip to science. He emphasized in his books as far back as early 30s that the future of India, long before India got freedom, who depend on science and technology. As an amateur student of history, I myself recognize the modern age can be distinguished from all the previous eras in history by only one thing. It is by different kind of science. Science, of course, there has always been. Science there has been in Jammu and Kashmir. Ancient medicine, that's why our institute is called Integrative Medicine, Institute of Medicine. But nobody can deny, however nostalgically we may be attached to the past, the science in modern age witnessed a quantum jump, which makes it so different from science in all other times and climes. But we in India should not merely imitate science in the West. We should go in for exploitation of our own unique gifts of nature, of adaptation for scientific research to the actual needs of our country. That's what we try to do in the CSIR. We have 40 labs. Omarji, this lab is a branch lab. And main lab is in Jammu, but this is as big as the main lab. We have 40 such labs. When I was talking to Ram Vishwakarma, and when he mentioned about the story of this institute, it sounded like an exciting tale. How it was done by people at Dr. Chopra quite some time ago, how in 90s and 2000s the whole thing got destabilized, how since 2009 they were reconstructed. I'm really happy that our DG has taken special interest in the resurrection of the institute here. Sometimes easier to found a new institute than to resurrect an old institute. What I note about this institute is it has attracted top talent from every part of the country. You know full well that everybody thinks Srinagar is tremendously disturbed. It's of course disturbed, nobody can deny the fact, but it's not as disturbed as people fear outside. But be that as it may, the top talent feels drawn to this institute. Not because of the beauty of valley only, but because of the quality of this institute. I'm happy to note that our Chief Minister takes a periodic interest in this institute. We are prepared to do whatever that's required for the farmers here. And I'm told CSIR is not some ivory tower institute in Valley. It's known to the farmers. I see Mr. Shaw nodding his head. It's known to the farmers. Biotech Park, with participation and support from Department of Biotechnology and CSIR of my ministry. They are both under me I'm hereby offering my full support. Technical and strategic support for realizing the full potential of the growth of unique aroma industry in the state. Valley should henceforth be known as an aromatic valley. Third, establishment of world-class CSR Science Center at IIIM Srinagar, including a value addition center for aroma industry, a state-of-the-art leather design center. We not only find products through research, we'll get them produced here to provide generation. And marketing and networking facilities. And the one our Chief Minister Omar Sahab has been asking for, one which I also like, a science museum for children of the Kashmir. See, as with anything, we can teach only new things to children. All of us have been talking of scientific temper right since the days of Jawaharlal Nehru. But the scientific temper can grow only with the growth of early education. When young boys and girls come and see this exhibition, they would know how the world of science is different, not merely in terms of technology, but in terms of intellectual outlook, in terms of philosophy, in terms of sayar. So we are going to start the program for Jammu and Kashmir as well. And I am sure our DG will carry forward all these initiatives, and he has already shown a lot of interest. On this occasion, I must congratulate our director, Ram Vishwakarma, who not only has international exposure, but the enthusiasm of a youngster for science, research, innovation, translation. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for your appreciation, your encouragement and blessings in the form of these important announcements in favor of J&K State. Thank you very much. Now I request Honorable Chief Minister Umar Abdullah Sahab to kindly come over here and say something on this occasion.
Janab S. Jaipal Reddy Sahab, the Honorable Union Minister for Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, and the Vice President of CSIR, Mrs. Reddy, Janab Firoz Khan Sahab, the Honorable Minister of State for Science and Technology and Information Technology, Government of Jammu and Kashmir, Professor Sumir, our audience in 40 campuses of CSIR dotted around the country, ladies and gentlemen. We in Srinagar are fortunate to have the presence of two union ministers today, and by sheer coincidence, both involved in functions to do with higher education, research and this field. Just this morning, I had the Union External Affairs Minister who was here in connection with a seminar and a symposium, and also inaugurated some new infrastructure in Kashmir University. And this afternoon, we're pleased and privileged to have Janab Jaipal Reddy Sahab, who I have been very keen to have visit J&K ever since I took over. He has continued to be a great friend of this state in the various capacities that he has served in the government of India. Most notably, I am extremely grateful to him for the support that I had received in his capacity as Minister for Urban Development, because we have a number of issues related to urban development in J&K, and he was very generous. So he has carried that generosity forward. So I think rather than start with the points I was going to start with, I will start actually at where Jaipal Reddy Sahab ended, and thank him most heartfully for your extremely generous support that we have given. Quite honestly, if you had asked Dr. Vishwakarma or any of his colleagues before your address what he would have been happy with, I think he would have settled for 2 of the 5 announcements you had made, and thought himself to be extremely lucky to have got 2 of them. The fact that he's got all 5, I think, means that Eid, Diwali, Christmas, everything has come at one time, and we look forward now to taking these commitments to their logical conclusion. As we are at the campus of the IIIM branch in Srinagar, I'll start from here. The evolution of this campus is in some ways the story of Jammu and Kashmir. It started sometime before independence. It grew with the focused attention of the then Prime Minister, the team that he put into place, his commitment to science and scientific research. Infrastructure was added through successive governments, as Dr. Vishwakarma shared with us in his presentation. As the state suffered with the onset of militancy in 1989, so did this institution. As people fled from the valley, so did scientists from here. As buildings in the valley came under the occupation of security forces, so did this. As the situation improved and a desire for normality began to take root, so did that mindset grow in this institution as well. And it is but natural that as the state has moved not to the end of the conflict situation that we have been dealing with, but where we can begin to start expecting an end to this conflict-like situation, so too has Phoenix-like, the IIIM branch of Srinagar, risen from the ashes of that trouble. And today you have come from a point where you had 1 scientist and 1 or 2 people assisting him to an institution where you have a full-fledged faculty and more posts having been created for this institution. For us politicians, and there are 3 of us on the stage, so we actually outnumber the scientists on this platform at least, it is very easy to lull ourselves into a sense that why bother with science? There are no votes in it. And if you really take it to its logical conclusion, then there can be no more sort of incorrect argument than that one. Yes, there are. I will be the first person to accept that there are no votes in pure science, which is fine. As politicians, if all we do is chase votes, then we're doing a huge disservice to the people who have put us there, to the state that we are serving, and to the nation as a whole. I'm sure our founding fathers did not come up with the idea of creating institutions like CSIR because they thought they could go to the heartland of UP or Madhya Pradesh or Bihar and claim progress in those fields, expecting votes in return. They did it because they believed that it was an investment worth making in a future generation. Now, pure science, as it is, is one side of things. I remember when Dr. Vishwakarma was instrumental in us setting up the scientific advisory group to advise me as Chief Minister. We had our first meeting, and it was a fairly extensive agenda. And the one point I had, which Dr. Vishwakarma has really taken forward with the support that he's had from Dr. Brahmachari and others, is that while we want to focus on the theoretical scientific research, we need to ensure that practical applications to that research become available as widespread as possible. Now, Jammu and Kashmir is uniquely placed because of its biodiversity, because of the diversity that you see from Jammu to Kashmir to Ladakh, to have a very strong network of institutions conducting basic research in areas that then allow us to create opportunities for the practical dimension to that research. Now, agriculture is the mainstay of our economy. More than 21% of our economy is in the primary sector, which means they are linked to agriculture. Our agriculture growth at constant prices is only 2%. Now, 2% agricultural growth 2% growth in agriculture is unacceptable. Now, we have challenges. The challenge we have is that agriculture in Jammu and Kashmir is largely subsistence in nature. We have very small holdings. With the increase in population, those holdings are getting smaller and smaller. Then how do we keep productivity in agriculture at the levels that we require it, but also make agriculture more remunerative? As my agriculture minister often says in meetings, how do we add glamour into agriculture? Because otherwise what is happening is that a farmer's son does not want to become a farmer. They don't see the returns in agriculture. But it's also very difficult for us to convince them to take the risk to move from a model of subsistence agriculture to a model where cash crops are grown. How do I convince somebody who all their life and before that they've seen their fathers and forefathers growing rice in those fields, how do I convince them to stop growing rice and grow lavender or grow other plants that they may or may not trust? Now, this is the challenge that we are facing. Obviously, the more our extension activities go forward, the more we are able to bring farmers to see for themselves what happens, the more perhaps on a pilot basis we in government are able to absorb any loss they face on account of making this transition, the more confidence we will be able to instill in our farmers to look at new opportunities, new products. Because of the location of Jammu and Kashmir, because of the problems we face with transportation, obviously bulk products do not suit us. And there again, biotechnology affords us unique opportunities because a lot of it is very high value, very low volume product. And therefore, you're not looking at truckloads of products being taken outside the state. In an ideal world, you'll be able to fly that product out of here. And the kind of volume, the kind of value you're talking about for the volume that you're sending out is astronomical. And therefore, this is an area that we have been very keen to develop. And therefore, with the Honorable Minister committing to these biotech parks, which are not just for research, the model that Dr. Vishwakarma showed you in his presentation covers all aspects. There will be research into the biotech field, but it is also an extension into converting that into actual business models. There are incubation facilities so that budding entrepreneurs can come forward and take advantage of that. We in Jammu and Kashmir face a huge problem with unemployment. Now, as much as I can tell the youngsters that we will create as many government jobs as we can possibly create for you, the fact of the matter is that government jobs are not the answer to the problem of unemployment. And therefore, it is binding upon me, with the support of the Union Ministry, to create opportunities outside of the government for jobs or for employment or for wealth creation. And in this, yes, agriculture, allied activities, biotechnology, information technology, these are all areas that are uniquely sort of placed for Jammu and Kashmir. if we had not seen the last 20-25 years of turmoil in this state, I can assure you Jammu and Kashmir would have been at the forefront of the information technology revolution that this country saw, at the forefront of the biotechnology revolution that this country saw, because Kashmiri young boys and girls, and Dr. Vishwakarma will bear me out in this, so will Professor Brahmachari, given an opportunity, they lack for nothing. They don't lack for drive, they don't lack for initiative, they don't lack for intelligence. The only thing our youngsters have been deprived of so far has been an opportunity. Which is why when Professor Brahmachari has talked about the NMR that we are now seeking to install here, when I visited the Jammu campus and Dr. Vishwakarma was showing me around and he showed me this amazing machine, I had no idea what it does. I still have no idea what it does. But in the course of the walk around, he said, look, this machine is there, it's worth so much, it's a huge asset to this institution. Unfortunately, in Kashmir, we haven't got one. So I said, why? He said, because we've tendered about 5 times, and it's only 1 or 2 countries where this machine is made, where it can be supplied from, and they're absolutely refusing to supply it to Kashmir. They said, we'll supply to Jammu as many as you like, but we will not supply to Kashmir. And this irritated me, because this is, let's put it this way, this is unacceptable. You can't decide whether you're going to, if you don't want to supply to Jammu and Kashmir, don't. But you cannot choose that you will supply to one part of my state and not supply to another. So I shot off what I would believe is to be a fairly undiplomatic letter to the government of India, particularly to the Ministry of External Affairs, saying that, look, if you claim Jammu and Kashmir to be a part of this country and Jammu and Kashmir to be one state, then please explain to me how companies are allowed to get away with supplying the same machine to Jammu and not supplying it to Kashmir. I'm extremely grateful to the government of India, to the support that we received from CSIR, Professor Brahmachari's commitment, because he knew he couldn't come back here until this machine was actually installed. Finally, we were able to convince those suppliers, and today we are in a position where this campus will also have the same machine available to our young scientists to be able to use and to grow and develop from. Developing a scientific temperament is not something that can start at the college. It has to start at the level of your school, and the earlier the better. The reason I'm talking about a science museum for Jammu, for Srinagar, is not because it's something I expect our tourists to visit. Our tourists, I'm sure, will be happy with Nishat, Shalimar, and all our other tourist attractions. The reason I want a science museum in the state is for our youngsters to be able to visit. Because I remember as a child being taken to museums, and I used to hate going to museums because I was always told to stand with my hands firmly by my side and don't touch anything. So every museum you went to, there was a sign saying, do not touch, do not touch. There were ropes tied across everywhere saying, do not cross. And it was irritating as a child because that's what you didn't want. And then I was taken to the science museum. And everywhere it said, touch this, touch that, cross here, go there. And for me, it was freedom, it was heaven. I could run around that museum and do pretty much what I liked. And there were all sorts of machines and gadgets and gizmos. And it instilled in me a desire to know what is happening. I would come home and I would take things apart. I think my parents went mad. I would take the remote control of the TV and start unscrewing it. There was hardly a toy they bought for me that I didn't try and demolish. And that's what we want in our children. I want to be able to bring our children from not just from the schools of Srinagar, but from the schools of surrounding areas as well, from far-flung areas, bring them to this museum and set them free. Tell them, look, please go touch whatever you like, mix chemicals, mix whatever liquids you can, and see what you can create so that the scientists of tomorrow will be born out of these institutions. If we believe that our scientists of tomorrow will be created once they reach the university, it will not happen. It is when we create this desire for scientific knowledge at the level when they're in schools. It is then that they will opt for science in the college level. It is then that they will opt for science at the university, pursue even greater learning in institutions like this. it is my responsibility, with the support of the Government of India, to make the best possible infrastructure available in schools so that children can pursue science as a subject. There are resource constraints. We obviously operate under constraints, but within those constraints, we will try and do the best that we can for the state, for the people, and particularly for the budding scientific community, whether those already in this institution or whether those who are desirous of coming here. At the end, I think I would be failing in my responsibility if I didn't acknowledge the support that we have received from time to time. As I said right in the beginning, from Jaipal Reddy Sahab, he has been more than generous in supporting us in the announcements that he's made. His predecessors also, I believe, I owe it to them to thank them, Dr. Ashwini Kumar and Mr. Prithviraj Chavan, the current Chief Minister of Maharashtra. When they looked after this portfolio, they were also very supportive of the initiatives that are being taken here. Professor Brahmachari has been a great support, both on-site as well as from headquarters. But I believe the biggest word of thanks I owe to Dr. Vishwakarma, because it is him. As much as I would like to take the credit for this and say, yes, all this I have done, honestly, that's not true. Yes, every once in a while I shoot off a letter, every once in a while I make a phone call, but really the driving force behind this, the one who keeps my office informed of what is happening, tells us what is necessary, keeps the process of the scientific advisory committee for my office alive, who really started this whole process by bringing me to the campuses of IIIM in Jammu and in Srinagar, really is Dr. Ram Vishwakarma. I don't know how I can hold on to him here and make sure that he doesn't go, but believe me, I will do whatever I have to. I will do whatever I have to hold on to him, because he is truly an asset. He is as committed, if not more committed, than a son of the soil. He truly has shown that commitment to a place does not stem from the fact that you were born there. Commitment to a place can stem from the fact that you just want to do something for a place. And in that, truly, Dr. Vishwakarma, you are somebody who we have taken to heart, and we hope that we will have your presence for as long as possible. But I'm also aware that even if you were to move on to greener pastures, we would still have the benefit of your commitment to this place. Higher pastures and greener ones as well. But anyway, my grateful thanks to Jaipal Reddy Sahab for coming here, for being a part of this program. My thanks to all of you, and I'd like to wish IIIM in its rededicated new avatar, like the proverbial phoenix that has risen from the ashes. I am sure this phoenix of the IIIM will rise from the ashes of the troubles of the earlier years to new and unparalleled heights. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I invite Dr. Y.S. Bedi, Head IIIM Srinagar, for a formal vote of thanks. Dr. Y.S. Bedi.
On behalf of organizing committee, it is my pleasant duty to propose formal vote of thanks. We are extremely thankful to Janab Omar Abdullah, Honorable Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir State, for sparing his valuable time to grace this function on the rededication of IIIM branch Srinagar to the nation. Sir, we the members of IIIM family always value your passion to use science for rural prosperity and employment generation in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Your presence and valuable thoughts outlined in your address have greatly encouraged us and has added grace to this occasion. I once again thank you, sir. We are indebted to Shri S. Jaipal Reddy, Vice President CSIR and Union Cabinet Minister for Science and Technology and Earth Sciences, for gracing the function of rededication of IIIM branch Srinagar to the nation. We all are highly thankful to you, sir, for your words of encouragement. Sir, we are very lucky to have an outstanding parliamentarian and an intellectual like you as our Vice President, and we are sure that under your guidance and leadership, CSIR will move to the greater heights. We are also thankful to you for your full support and making certain very important announcements which we were having in our hearts, and you have really made those announcements and fulfilled our desires. We are very pleased to have Janab Feroz Ahmed Khan, Minister of Science and Technology, Government of Jammu and Kashmir, among us today as a guest of honor. Sir, we are thankful to you for being part of this function and presenting your valuable remarks. We are highly thankful to Professor Samir K. Brahmachari, Director General CSIR, who has always been a great source of inspiration to the scientific community. Sir, without your unstinted moral and financial support, it would not have been possible for us to develop IIIM branch Srinagar into a world-class lab. We thank you for your support in all the respects. We are indeed thankful to Dr. Ram Vishwakarma, our worthy director, for his guidance and meticulous planning in organizing this function. Sir, but for your vision and passion, it was not possible for us to make this lab equipped with state-of-the-art equipment and attract best of the scientific talent. And now I see a very bright future for this branch lab. Our thanks are due to print and electronic media for covering this event. I am particularly thankful to Shri Kalyan Ray, Deccan Herald, Shri Sudhir Tiwari from PIB New Delhi, Shri Madan Jairia from Hindustan, Shri Suresh Upadhyay Navbharat Times, and Muhammad Asif Akhtar from USD CSIR, who have come all the way from Delhi to cover this function. I am also thankful to my colleagues from IIIM, both from Jammu and Srinagar, drawn from scientific, technical, administrative stream, and particularly the students from IIIM branch Srinagar, who have worked very hard to make this function a success. With this, we come to an end of this part of function, and now I invite invite our dignitaries on the dais to proceed towards for the inauguration of new chemistry lab.
Sir,
And I will request all the students and staff to be in their labs.
Before we disperse, I thought this would be most appropriate time. Earlier, we used to call IIIM Jammu and then say Extension Center at Srinagar. Today onwards, we call CSIR IIIM Jammu, CSIR IIIM Srinagar. Like IITs, IIT Kanpur, IIT Bombay. So you have a dual responsibility of two centers. Are you clear? Because it will have 60 scientists, that's the way. That's it. Just put the brick. You redo it.
Cement I put.
और पीछे
Because the students will come and then they're leaving the campus.
So it is now
सर अलग के okay sir.
So you have made it the old style. Same style you have made.
Thanks.
Lift up it.
These standards, including minor operations.
आप यहाँ पे करते हैं researching
actually doing the isolation of natural products.
isolation of natural products. Going from
Those are, see, if he has to use some
puts it over the top.
solvent, because we want to make a
We used to
maintenance
do PhDs, our hands were half in benzene.
international exporters. We have to maintain those standards.
It's a good laboratory.
Fermentation and
वालेकुम अस्सलाम, क्या हाल है ना? आप ठीक हो? We send all our raw hides back out. So we actually have enormous raw material potential here.
And we can provide employment.
That's it.
Supply to
DST secretary is our ex-Leather Institute director. So our aspirations are larger than resource. We have what we need to do. And from there, you go there.
That's it. They can generate some input opportunities. अस्सलाम वालेकुम, कैसे हैं आप?
You get one admission, right? We have arranged to fix the IT guys the software, so that whatever they are doing, all this is managed today morning for it. Yes.
I think you do it.
दोनों लोग
It has to be called CSIR, IIIM.
Your letter is just to change.
I know. Yes. Magnet
So it is superconducting magnet
minus 273 degree.
Oh, super.
of molecules. Which are the one
Like on those graphs, that's some of the data that we have.
based on this picture of the chemical molecules.
So the helium,
Identifying the protons in a particular molecule,
Our helium.
and we get within that particular hertz of that this magnetic is there, field is there, actually aligns with these protons. They have its own tendency to have that magnetic field.
liquid hydrogen we need every 3 or 10 days.
This was not the money, it was just intellectual components and then determine the activity of each component. And once you found the bioactive compound, then you go to NMR and determine the structure. And once you have made that discovery, you have a new bioactive compound. Then you can see that is the another very sophisticated machine. This is the product.
Botanically, this is a different species. This is Lavandula hybrida, that is Lavandula officinalis.
So, and what else? Geranium you have?
Yes, yeah.
Melissa.
This is the pharmacology lab. The important thing. We are entering pharmacology lab, sir.
Good. All of you are taking interest in this. This one is good.
We are setting out.
Strong interest in. I have my chair. Yes. But you're intellectually opposed to it.